What if everything we thought we knew about ancient history was wrong? Imagine a moment when an archaeologist carefully brushes away layers of dust and soil, revealing a hidden passageway no one has stepped into for thousands of years. The air is thick with mystery, the scent of the past hanging in the dim chamber. Then, they step inside and see something no one ever expected, something that will change history forever. This isn't just another excavation or an ordinary tomb discovery. Archaeologists have stumbled upon something that doesn't fit within the historical timeline, something so shocking that it forces experts to reconsider everything they once believed. They were searching for one thing but instead uncovered evidence of an ancient civilization with knowledge, customs, and secrets that defy the accepted historical narrative. This isn't just a burial site, it's a direct message from the past, waiting to be deciphered. The moment the discovery was made, whispers of controversy spread through the academic community. How could something like this remain hidden for so long? How did no one find it before? More importantly, what does it reveal about human civilization that has been overlooked or ignored? There are times when history refuses to be rewritten, but when undeniable proof emerges, even the most skeptical voices are forced to listen. A discovery unlike any other. The tomb was found in a region rich with history, yet archaeologists never expected to find something of this magnitude buried beneath the earth. The exact location remains under careful study, but initial reports suggest that it lies within an area once believed to have been thoroughly excavated. This raises the question, what else could still be hidden beneath our feet, waiting to be discovered? For years, this site was thought to be fully mapped, its secrets already revealed to the world. However, a recent geological survey using advanced technology indicated that something unusual lay beneath the surface. At first, it seemed like a minor anomaly, perhaps an extension of previously known ruins. But as the excavation progressed, it became clear that they had stumbled upon something completely unexpected. The region where the tomb was found has long been a focal point for archaeologists. Its historical significance stretches back thousands of years, linking it to civilizations that shaped the course of human development. But this tomb doesn't fit the established pattern of burials in the area. The construction style, the placement, and even the materials used challenge previous assumptions. The structure itself appears to predate other known tombs in the region, and yet, it shows a level of craftsmanship that suggests an advanced understanding of architecture and engineering. This isn't just another burial chamber, it's a message from a time that historians may not have fully understood. A glimpse inside the tomb. When archaeologists first entered the hidden chamber, they expected to find something familiar, perhaps the remains of a ruler or high-ranking official, decorated with the artifacts typical of their era. But what they found instead sent shockwaves through the field of archaeology. The tomb wasn't just a place of burial, it was a time capsule containing relics that seemed almost too advanced for the period in which they were placed. The walls were lined with inscriptions, some in a language that had never been seen before. Symbols, carvings, and murals depicted scenes that do not match anything previously recorded in history. Among the most baffling discoveries were artifacts that suggest technological or spiritual knowledge far beyond what was believed to exist at the time. Some objects appeared to be purely ceremonial, while others hinted at a lost practice or belief system that has never been documented. The items found within challenge long-held assumptions about the people who lived in this era, who they were, what they believed, and what they were capable of. Even more intriguing was the presence of remains that seemed to belong to an individual of extraordinary significance. Was this a ruler whose story had been erased from history? A high priest with knowledge that was deliberately hidden? Or someone who belonged to a civilization so lost to time that no written records of them exist? This discovery doesn't just add a new chapter to history, it demands an entirely new book. The implications stretch far beyond this single tomb, raising the possibility that there are more undiscovered sites just like it, waiting to be found. If one lost civilization can emerge from the depths of history, how many more could still be buried beneath the surface, hidden from the world? This is only the beginning. The real question is, what will archaeologists find next? And how will it reshape everything we thought we knew about the ancient world? The location and historical context. The discovery of this ancient tomb has sent shockwaves through the archaeological community, but one of the most pressing questions remains: where exactly was it found? The location of a burial site is often just as revealing as what lies within it. It provides context, linking the discovery to a broader historical timeline, civilizations that once thrived, and clues to what may still be hidden beneath the earth. The tomb was unearthed in a region known for its deep historical significance, an area that had long been studied but never before revealed anything of this scale. This wasn't an ordinary dig site. Archaeologists weren't searching for a major discovery when they stumbled upon it. In fact, this area was thought to be fully mapped, its secrets exhausted by previous excavations. Yet, modern technology, ground-penetrating radar and satellite imaging, revealed subtle anomalies beneath the surface, indicating that something unknown lay buried. The surrounding landscape is rich in history, with ancient ruins scattered across the region, remnants of civilizations that once flourished but have long since disappeared. What makes this particular discovery so groundbreaking is that it does not seem to align with the expected timeline of known cultures in the area. The craftsmanship, materials, and inscriptions found within the tomb point to something older, possibly predating the civilizations that historians previously believed were the first to settle in this region. Scholars are now questioning whether this discovery hints at a lost civilization, one that existed long before recorded history began to take shape. If so, it could rewrite the understanding of human development in this part of the world. But even if it does belong to an established civilization, its advanced architectural style and intricate design suggest knowledge and capabilities that surpass what was believed possible at the time. The civilization behind the tomb. The moment the tomb was opened, it became clear that it did not belong to just any ancient society. The carvings, the artifacts, and the burial layout suggest a sophisticated culture, one with an understanding of astronomy, engineering, and perhaps even spiritual practices that were previously unknown. But who were they? Some historians argue that the tomb could belong to an elite member of a well-known civilization, an individual whose name was lost to time but whose significance was so great that they were buried with extraordinary care and precision. Others, however, propose a far more controversial idea, that this is evidence of a completely unknown civilization, one that predates recorded history and challenges everything historians thought they knew. If this civilization was already known, why does the tomb contain symbols and a language that do not match anything previously documented? Why do some of the artifacts appear more advanced than those found in later societies? These questions fuel speculation that this is not just another ancient burial site, but rather a missing piece of history that had remained hidden until now. There is also a growing debate over whether the tomb was intentionally concealed. Some experts believe that it was meant to be forgotten, that perhaps this civilization or its rulers were erased from history for reasons unknown. Could this have been an ancient attempt to suppress knowledge, to bury secrets that were never meant to be uncovered? The inscriptions within the tomb, though only partially deciphered so far, contain markings and symbols that do not match the known writing systems of the region. This suggests that either an entirely separate culture existed alongside known civilizations, or that an earlier, more advanced society influenced the ones that followed. If this is the case, then the implications are staggering. It could mean that human civilization is far older and more complex than previously thought. The purpose of the tomb. Understanding why this tomb was built is just as important as knowing who built it. Theories range from the practical to the mysterious, with scholars debating whether it was meant to honor a ruler, serve as a religious site, or if its purpose was something entirely unexpected. In many ancient cultures, elaborate tombs were reserved for the most powerful individuals, kings, pharaohs, high priests, or nobility. If this tomb follows that tradition, then the person buried within must have been of immense significance. However, there are unusual aspects of this burial that set it apart from other royal tombs. The arrangement of artifacts, the orientation of the body, and the sheer complexity of the structure suggest that it may have held a purpose beyond simply serving as a resting place. Some researchers propose that the tomb could be more than just a burial site. It might have been a ceremonial chamber, used for rituals that have yet to be fully understood. The presence of objects that seem to have been placed with precise alignment to celestial bodies raises the possibility that this civilization had an advanced understanding of astronomy. If this is true, then the tomb may have had a dual function, serving both as a final resting place and as an observatory of sorts, aligning with celestial events that were significant to the people who built it. Others suggest that this could have been a site of pilgrimage, a sacred location where rituals were conducted long after the burial took place. This theory gains credibility when considering the presence of artifacts that appear to have been added over time, possibly by later generations who continued to honor whoever was buried within. If so, this would indicate that the individual entombed here was not just a leader, but a figure of deep spiritual or cultural significance. One of the most controversial theories suggests that this tomb was deliberately hidden from future generations. Some researchers believe that the way it was sealed, combined with the absence of any historical record mentioning it, suggests that its existence was meant to be erased. Could this be the burial of a ruler who was overthrown, a religious figure whose teachings were considered too dangerous, or someone whose knowledge was deemed too advanced for the time? Comparisons to other famous tombs provide some clues, but none offer a perfect match. Unlike the pyramids of Egypt, which were designed to showcase power and ensure safe passage to the afterlife, this tomb is more discreet, almost as if it was meant to stay hidden. Unlike the grand burial chambers of ancient China, which were carefully documented and sealed with intricate defenses, this site lacks the expected security measures, suggesting that it was abandoned in a hurry, or that its location was deliberately kept secret. These inconsistencies raise more questions than answers. If this was the burial site of a ruler, why are there no records of them? If it was meant for a religious leader, why does it not follow the burial traditions of the time? And if it was meant to be hidden, why is it so elaborately designed? The discovery of this tomb forces historians and archaeologists to reconsider what they thought they knew. It challenges the accepted timeline of civilization, introduces new questions about lost cultures, and suggests that there are still secrets buried beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered. This is more than just a tomb. It is a mystery that could redefine the story of humanity. The moment of discovery. How was it found? The discovery of the ancient tomb was not a planned excavation, nor was it the result of a search for a lost civilization. It happened unexpectedly, catching even the most experienced archaeologists by surprise. The team that uncovered the site was not looking for a burial chamber at all. They were conducting a routine survey, mapping the area for potential minor archaeological sites that could provide insight into the region's past. What they found, however, was something far more significant than they could have ever imagined. This team consisted of leading archaeologists, historians, and researchers from various institutions around the world. They had been working in the area for several months, using the latest technology to scan the terrain in search of evidence of early human settlements. The region was already known for its historical importance, with traces of ancient civilizations that had once thrived along nearby rivers and trade routes. But no one had ever suspected that something of this magnitude lay hidden beneath the surface. At first, the researchers believed they had stumbled upon the remnants of an ordinary structure, perhaps an ancient marketplace, a religious site, or even the foundation of an early city. But as they continued their work, the readings from their equipment suggested something much larger, something that defied expectations. The depth at which it was buried, the density of the structure, and the unusual alignment of underground chambers all pointed to something unique. The more they examined the data, the clearer it became that they were standing on top of something far more significant than a simple ruin. How it was unearthed. Unlike past archaeological discoveries that relied on luck or educated guesses, this tomb was found using cutting-edge technology. Ground-penetrating radar, a tool that allows researchers to see beneath the surface without digging, was the first indication that something unusual lay below. The readings showed an underground structure with multiple levels, something that did not match any known historical site in the region. The radar scans revealed what appeared to be a network of chambers, corridors, and sealed-off rooms, evidence of a burial site far more complex than anyone had expected. Satellite imaging played a crucial role in confirming these findings. High-resolution images of the terrain showed subtle irregularities, patterns in the landscape that were invisible to the naked eye but suggested human-made structures beneath the surface. Advanced AI-assisted archaeology, a field that is revolutionizing how ancient sites are discovered, helped process the data, identifying anomalies that traditional methods might have overlooked. The excavation process began cautiously. Given the depth and size of the structure, archaeologists knew they were dealing with something extraordinary. They carefully removed layers of soil, working meticulously to avoid damaging whatever lay beneath. It became evident that the tomb had been deliberately hidden. Unlike many ancient burial sites that erode over time due to natural processes, this one seemed to have been sealed with precision. Large stone slabs covered the entrance, arranged in a way that suggested they were meant to keep the chamber concealed. This raised immediate questions. Why was this tomb so well hidden? Was it meant to protect something, or keep something locked away? The intentional burial of the site suggested that whoever built it wanted to ensure that it remained undiscovered. This only deepened the mystery. First reactions from experts as the entrance was finally exposed, the team was filled with anticipation. The first glimpse inside was nothing short of breathtaking. Unlike other tombs that are often found looted or deteriorated, this one appeared untouched. The walls were adorned with carvings that depicted scenes unlike anything recorded in known historical texts. Symbols, some familiar and others completely unknown, lined the corridors. The air inside was still and dry, preserving much of what lay within. The lead archaeologist on site, an expert in ancient civilizations, was the first to step inside. Their reaction was immediate. They knew they had found something that would change the way history was written. The sheer scale of the tomb, combined with the artifacts that lay within, suggested a civilization that either had been forgotten by time or had been deliberately erased from history. Historians who were called in to assess the discovery were equally stunned. The artifacts, the inscriptions, the burial layout, all of it defied conventional understanding. Some of the objects found within suggested technological advancements that were far ahead of their time, while others hinted at religious practices that had never been documented before. The burial itself did not match the traditions of known cultures from the region, leading experts to question whether they were dealing with a completely lost civilization. Speculation ran wild. Some suggested that this was the tomb of an undiscovered ruler, someone whose reign had been wiped from history. Others proposed that it could belong to a high priest, a spiritual leader who was buried with secrets that were never meant to be uncovered. Theories ranged from the practical to the fantastical, with some even suggesting that the tomb could contain evidence of ancient knowledge that had been lost to time. As more details emerged, the academic world was divided. Some scholars embraced the discovery, eager to explore its implications, while others remained skeptical. The idea that an advanced civilization could have existed earlier than previously believed was controversial, challenging the accepted timeline of human development. The public reaction was just as intense. News of the discovery spread quickly, sparking debates, conspiracy theories, and endless speculation. Some believed it was evidence of a lost golden age, a time when humanity possessed knowledge and abilities that have since been forgotten. Others feared that the discovery would be suppressed, hidden away to protect the established historical narrative. But one thing was clear: the discovery of this tomb was not just another archaeological find. It was a gateway to a past that had long been buried, a story waiting to be told. The full significance of what lay within was still unknown, but one thing was certain: history. What was inside? Shocking revelations. The moment archaeologists stepped inside the tomb, they knew they had found something extraordinary. The air was thick with dust, undisturbed for what could have been thousands of years. The walls, perfectly preserved, held intricate carvings, symbols, and patterns that seemed unfamiliar. The deeper they ventured, the more they realized that this was unlike any tomb they had ever seen. The tomb's layout, unlike traditional tombs where the main burial chamber is the primary focus, this structure was far more complex. The entrance led to a narrow corridor, lined with symbols and what appeared to be offerings placed in alcoves. These corridors twisted and turned in a labyrinth-like pattern, almost as if designed to confuse anyone who dared enter. Further inside, the chambers became more elaborate. Some appeared to have been used for ceremonies, with stone platforms that might have once held sacred relics or statues. Others contained remnants of what seemed like furniture, ceremonial tools, and containers that still held traces of organic material. The burial chamber itself was hidden behind a false wall, a common tactic used in ancient tombs to deter looters. But here, the deception went even further. Beyond the main chamber, archaeologists discovered a second, smaller room, completely sealed off, containing items that defied explanation. The complexity of the layout bore some resemblance to other famous tombs, but with striking differences. Unlike the straightforward design of Tutankhamun's tomb, which was small and packed with treasure, this tomb was more expansive and deliberately concealed. Unlike the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, which was designed to reflect an entire empire in the afterlife, this structure seemed more secretive, as if it was meant to be forgotten rather than glorified. Every chamber, every corridor seemed to serve a purpose beyond mere burial, suggesting a belief system that had yet to be fully understood. The artifacts and symbols discovered. The artifacts inside the tomb were unlike anything archaeologists had seen before. While some items bore resemblance to known ancient tools, weapons, and ceremonial objects, others seemed completely out of place. The walls were covered with inscriptions in a script that did not match any known language. Some of these symbols had been seen in fragmented form in other archaeological sites, but never in such abundance and detail. There were depictions of celestial bodies, strange figures that seemed almost otherworldly, and rituals that did not correspond to any known ancient traditions. Some of the images suggested a deep connection to astronomy, hinting that this civilization had an advanced understanding of the stars. The presence of what appeared to be ancient star charts raised the question, had these people possessed knowledge of the cosmos far beyond what was thought possible for their time? Religious significance was evident throughout the tomb. Several objects bore markings that indicated they had been used in sacred ceremonies. Some resembled artifacts from other ancient cultures, while others were entirely unique. The way they were arranged suggested that rituals had taken place here, possibly involving offerings to gods or ancestors. But the exact nature of these rituals remains a mystery. One of the most shocking discoveries was an object that appeared to be made from a material unknown to archaeologists. Tests later revealed that it was composed of a mix of metals not commonly found together in nature, suggesting either an advanced level of metallurgy or a source of material that had yet to be identified. This finding alone raised countless questions. Had this civilization developed technology that was lost over time? Or did they have access to resources that were later forgotten? Human remains and DNA analysis. At the heart of the tomb lay its most significant discovery, the remains of an individual, perfectly preserved in a sarcophagus unlike any ever found. The material of the coffin was similar to others from the region, but the craftsmanship was far superior. The carvings on the lid depicted a figure in elaborate clothing, surrounded by symbols that suggested immense power or divinity. Initial analysis of the bones indicated that this individual had been of high status, possibly a ruler or a revered spiritual leader. But what set this apart from other burials was the positioning of the body. Unlike traditional burials where the deceased is placed facing a certain direction based on cultural beliefs, this body was positioned in a way that defied explanation. It was as if the person had been prepared for something other than an ordinary afterlife. DNA testing brought even more surprises. The genetic markers found in the remains did not fully match any known population from the time period. There were elements that linked him to nearby civilizations, but others that pointed to a lineage that had not been previously documented. This suggested either an unknown migration pattern or the existence of a lost civilization that had not been recorded in history. Even more startling was the presence of substances in the bones that indicated an unusual diet. The isotopic analysis revealed traces of minerals and compounds not typically associated with the known diets of ancient societies in the region. This led researchers to question whether this civilization had access to unique food sources, or if they had engaged in practices that have since been lost to time. What makes this different from other tombs? Everything about this discovery challenged historical narratives. The architecture, the artifacts, the body itself, none of it fit within the established understanding of ancient civilizations in the area. This was not just another tomb of a forgotten king or noble. It was evidence of a culture that had either been erased from history or had existed in secrecy. The burial practices found here were unlike those of any known civilization. Most ancient tombs follow a pattern, whether Egyptian, Chinese, or Mesoamerican. They reflect the religious and social beliefs of the time, often centered around an afterlife or a journey to another realm. But this tomb seemed to tell a different story. The absence of common burial symbols, combined with the presence of unexplained artifacts, suggested that this was not a traditional tomb. Some researchers speculated that it could have been a sanctuary, a place of exile, or even a site meant to store forbidden knowledge. Another aspect that puzzled experts was the level of preservation. Many ancient tombs suffer from decay due to moisture, bacteria, and the passage of time. Yet, this site remained remarkably intact. Some theorists proposed that this was due to the way it was sealed, while others suggested that it might have been deliberately preserved through methods that had not yet been understood. The level of precision in the stonework, the arrangement of the burial chamber, and the deliberate concealment of the tomb all pointed to a culture that had gone to great lengths to ensure its secrets remained undiscovered. One of the most controversial theories that emerged was the possibility that this tomb was meant to be forgotten. Unlike grand burial sites meant to immortalize rulers, this one seemed almost as if it had been hidden on purpose. Could this have been the final resting place of someone who was erased from history? A leader who was overthrown? A religious figure whose teachings were considered too dangerous? The discovery of this tomb has left archaeologists and historians with more questions than answers. It is not just a burial site, it is a challenge to everything previously known about human civilization. Every new test, every artifact uncovered, and every symbol translated adds another layer to the mystery. This discovery is not just a glimpse into the past, it is a key to rewriting history itself. What secrets does this tomb still hold? What knowledge has been buried here, waiting to be uncovered? And most importantly, if this has remained hidden for so long, what else is out there, waiting to change everything we thought we knew? Theories and controversies, what this could mean for history. The discovery of the ancient tomb has set the academic world on fire. Historians, archaeologists, and researchers from various disciplines are scrambling to make sense of the implications. This is not just another burial site, it is a puzzle that challenges long-held beliefs, raising questions about lost civilizations, forgotten timelines, and whether history has been told accurately. The implications of this discovery stretch far beyond its immediate location. If the tomb truly belongs to an unknown civilization, then it forces a reassessment of human history. If it instead belonged to a known civilization but contains evidence of advanced knowledge previously thought impossible for that era, then it forces scholars to rethink what ancient societies were truly capable of. This discovery does not just add to history, it disrupts it. Does this rewrite history? One of the most pressing questions following the discovery is whether it changes the established historical timeline. Civilizations are mapped out based on archaeological findings, written records, and ancient texts that have survived. But what happens when something surfaces that does not fit into that framework? If this tomb belongs to a lost culture that predates current historical records, then it means human civilization is older than previously believed. If the burial practices, inscriptions, or artifacts indicate knowledge that should not have existed at the time, then it suggests that history has either been misinterpreted or deliberately edited over the centuries. The presence of unknown symbols and an undeciphered language within the tomb suggests that historians may have been missing a key civilization from the record books. Languages do not exist in isolation. They evolve from older forms and leave traces in later dialects. If this language has no direct links to known ancient scripts, it could mean that this civilization existed in total isolation or that its history was deliberately erased. That alone would be a groundbreaking revelation. There is also the question of technological development. Some of the artifacts found in the tomb suggest craftsmanship or scientific understanding beyond what was believed to exist at the time. This raises the possibility that either ancient civilizations were more advanced than previously thought, or that they had knowledge that was lost over time. If this is the case, then history books may need to be rewritten to reflect a more complex and interconnected human past. The tomb also raises the possibility of forgotten events, events that were either never recorded or were wiped from historical records. Throughout history, conquerors have rewritten the past, erasing their enemies from inscriptions, destroying libraries, and burying evidence of those who came before them. It would not be the first time that an entire civilization was lost to time. Could this discovery be proof of a historical cover-up from centuries or even millennia ago? Alternative theories. As with any major archaeological discovery, alternative theories have begun to emerge, some rooted in academic research and others leaning toward speculation. One of the most intriguing theories is that this tomb does not belong to any known civilization, but instead is evidence of a completely lost culture. If true, this would mean that history has a massive missing piece, an advanced society that vanished without a trace. Some researchers have drawn connections between the tomb and ancient myths and legends. Many ancient cultures tell stories of lost civilizations, cities that sank beneath the sea, or great kingdoms that were wiped from history. Could this be evidence that some of those myths were based on real events? There are eerie similarities between the artifacts found in the tomb and descriptions found in ancient texts. Some researchers believe that these similarities are more than coincidence, that they point to a civilization that may have influenced multiple cultures before disappearing. Another theory suggests that this tomb belonged to a breakaway society, a faction of an existing civilization that operated in secrecy. History is filled with examples of isolated religious groups, underground societies, and secretive cults that practice rituals separate from the mainstream beliefs of their time. If this was one of those groups, then the question becomes, what were they trying to hide? Were they escaping persecution? Did they possess knowledge that others wanted to suppress? And if they were so secretive, why was their burial site eventually discovered? There are also more controversial theories, including the idea that the knowledge found in this tomb was not of earthly origin. Some researchers have pointed out that the celestial symbols and inscriptions within the tomb suggest an advanced understanding of astronomy that should not have been possible at the time. While mainstream scholars reject such ideas, some alternative researchers believe that this could indicate outside influence, either from a lost civilization with knowledge beyond what we previously assumed or from an unknown source entirely. Theories from experts. Mainstream historians have approached this discovery with cautious excitement. While the tomb certainly presents challenges to established history, most experts are focused on understanding it within the context of what is already known. They argue that civilizations often borrow from one another, which means that even if some of the findings seem unusual, they may simply represent a forgotten or undiscovered branch of a known culture. They believe that further excavation and research will eventually place this discovery within an understandable framework. Alternative researchers, however, are more willing to question the accepted narrative. Some believe that the tomb's existence suggests that there were civilizations far more advanced than previously thought, and that the historical timeline needs to be expanded. Others question why certain artifacts resemble objects from other regions, suggesting that ancient civilizations may have been more interconnected than scholars have acknowledged. There is also debate over the significance of the unknown script found within the tomb. Some experts believe it may simply be an early form of a known language, while others argue that if it is a completely separate linguistic system, it could indicate a civilization that developed independently. If so, how did it remain hidden for so long? And why does it not appear in any historical records? The disagreement between mainstream historians and alternative researchers is nothing new. Throughout history, discoveries that challenged existing beliefs were often dismissed at first, only to be accepted later when more evidence emerged. The debate surrounding this tomb is likely to continue for years, with new theories emerging as more details come to light. Potential cover-ups or suppressed discoveries. There is always speculation when a major discovery like this takes place. Some believe that the academic world is too invested in preserving the existing historical narrative and that discoveries like this are often suppressed or downplayed to avoid rewriting history. While there is no concrete evidence of a cover-up, the lack of immediate transparency surrounding the tomb's contents has fueled theories that not everything is being disclosed. History is filled with examples of discoveries that were ignored, dismissed, or even destroyed because they did not fit the accepted narrative. The burning of the Library of Alexandria, the lost records of the Mayans, and the deliberate destruction of ancient temples are all reminders that history is often shaped by those in power. If this tomb contains information that challenges historical orthodoxy, will it be fully revealed to the public, or will it be buried once again, this time in secrecy rather than in stone? There are also concerns about what might happen if the tomb is found to contain something truly groundbreaking. Would the information be released in its entirety, or would it be carefully controlled? Throughout history, there have been instances where discoveries were deemed too dangerous or controversial to be made public. Some believe that this could be another such case, especially if the tomb reveals evidence of a lost civilization or knowledge that could change the way we view ancient history. The discovery of this tomb has sparked more questions than answers. It has challenged the existing timeline of human civilization, raised theories about lost cultures and forbidden knowledge, and ignited debates between mainstream scholars and alternative researchers. Whether it will be fully explored or quietly forgotten remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: this discovery is too significant to be ignored. The truth, whatever it may be, is waiting to be uncovered. The question is, will we ever know the full story? The science behind the discovery. The discovery of the ancient tomb has not only raised questions about lost civilizations and hidden histories, but has also highlighted the role of cutting-edge technology in archaeology. Gone are the days when archaeologists relied solely on luck or ancient maps to uncover long-lost sites. Today, advanced scientific tools are rewriting history, allowing researchers to peer beneath the Earth's surface, analyze ancient materials at a microscopic level, and even reconstruct the past in ways that were previously unimaginable. This tomb, hidden for centuries, would have remained undiscovered without the technological advancements that have revolutionized cutting-edge technology in archaeology. The excavation of this tomb began not with shovels and brushes but with satellites and artificial intelligence. The site where the tomb was discovered had been surveyed numerous times before, but it wasn't until modern scanning technology was applied that archaeologists realized something significant lay beneath the surface. LiDAR, or light detection and ranging, was instrumental in detecting hidden structures buried deep underground. This technology uses laser pulses to create high-resolution maps of the terrain, revealing subtle depressions and anomalies that indicate the presence of ancient buildings, roads, or burial chambers. When LiDAR scans of the site revealed an unnatural formation beneath the earth, it became clear that something had been intentionally hidden. Satellite imaging provided another crucial layer of evidence. Advanced satellite sensors detected variations in the soil composition, temperature shifts, and slight differences in vegetation patterns, all indicators that human activity had once shaped the land. This method has been used in other major archaeological discoveries, such as the lost city of Angkor in Cambodia, but its application to this tomb was groundbreaking. It suggested not just a single burial chamber, but an entire underground structure with multiple rooms and corridors. Artificial intelligence played a key role in interpreting the data. AI-driven algorithms sifted through massive amounts of historical records, site maps, and past excavation data, comparing patterns and identifying potential connections between this site and other known civilizations. By analyzing soil composition, AI models predicted what types of materials might be found inside the tomb, guiding archaeologists in their approach. This technology saved years of manual labor, narrowing down excavation sites with pinpoint accuracy. Once the entrance to the tomb was uncovered, the use of robotic exploration tools allowed researchers to assess the interior without immediately disturbing the fragile environment. Small, camera-equipped drones were sent into the chamber, capturing high-resolution images and 3D scans before any human entered. These scans provided the first real glimpse inside, revealing the intricate carvings, artifacts, and burial arrangement that would later puzzle historians. Carbon dating and DNA testing. Determining the exact age of the tomb was critical to understanding its place in history. Carbon dating, a method that measures the decay of radioactive carbon isotopes in organic materials, was used on wooden artifacts, remnants of burial textiles, and even the organic residues found inside ceremonial vessels. The results were astonishing. The materials dated back far earlier than expected, challenging previous assumptions about when advanced societies had developed in the region. If the dating was accurate, this tomb predated known civilizations in the area by centuries, possibly even millennia. The human remains found inside the sarcophagus underwent rigorous analysis. DNA testing was conducted to determine the ancestry of the individual buried there. Genetic markers in the bones showed a mix of familiar traits from known populations, but with unexpected variations that did not match any known ancient genetic lineage. This raised an immediate question: was this an isolated group that had remained genetically distinct, or did this individual belong to a forgotten civilization with unique origins? The findings suggested that this person may have been part of a culture that either migrated from an unknown location or had been erased from historical records. Further analysis of bone structure and isotopic composition provided additional clues about the individual's life. Studies on tooth enamel revealed details about their diet, indicating a reliance on food sources not typically associated with the civilizations known to have existed at that time. There were traces of minerals in the bones that suggested the person had consumed substances linked to medicinal or ritualistic practices, further deepening the mystery. The materials used in the construction of the tomb itself also underwent scientific scrutiny. Geologists examined the stone, discovering that some of the materials had been transported from hundreds of miles away. This suggested an extensive trade network or an advanced level of engineering capable of moving massive blocks over long distances. The tomb's interior showed signs of an unusual preservation technique, one that prevented significant degradation over thousands of years. Chemical analysis of the walls suggested the use of an unknown binding agent, something that modern science had yet to fully understand. Unsolved mysteries. Despite all the technological advancements used in uncovering and analyzing the tomb, many mysteries remain unsolved. The biggest question is who built it and why. If this civilization was known, why does the tomb not follow the burial traditions of the time? If it was unknown, why has there been no other evidence of its existence until now? The unknown script found on the walls has yet to be fully deciphered. Linguists and cryptographers have been working to analyze the symbols, but without a reference point, progress has been slow. If this is an entirely new language, it could take decades to unlock its meaning. The presence of celestial markings on the ceiling has also raised speculation. Some researchers believe these represent an ancient star chart, mapping constellations with surprising accuracy. If true, this would mean that the people who built this tomb had an advanced understanding of astronomy. Some markings align with celestial events that occurred thousands of years ago, leading some to believe that the tomb was designed in relation to these cosmic occurrences. Another unanswered question is why the tomb was sealed so thoroughly. Most royal tombs are constructed to be visible and accessible to the living, often as places of worship or reverence. This site, however, was deliberately hidden, as if those who built it wanted it never to be found. What was being concealed? Was this individual someone whose existence had to be erased, or was there something buried here that others feared would one day be uncovered? Even the artifacts found within the tomb continue to fuel debate. Some of the objects appear to have been placed there centuries after the original burial, suggesting that later civilizations knew of the tomb's existence and either continued to honor it or attempted to seal it further. This raises the possibility that the tomb's occupant was not merely a forgotten ruler but someone whose memory was deliberately suppressed. Archaeologists and historians may never be able to answer all of these questions definitively, but one thing is certain: the scientific tools used to uncover this tomb have opened a window into a past that was long buried. Every discovery made through carbon dating, DNA testing, and artificial intelligence only adds to the growing realization that there is still much we do not know about the ancient world. As researchers continue to study the tomb, new revelations may come to light. Perhaps the undeciphered symbols will finally be translated, revealing the name of the civilization that built it. Perhaps further excavations in the area will uncover additional structures, shedding light on the mystery of why this site was hidden. Or perhaps, as history has often shown, some secrets will remain buried forever. How this changes our understanding of the ancient world. The discovery of this tomb has ignited a debate that goes far beyond archaeology. It has forced historians and researchers to reconsider what ancient civilizations were truly capable of and whether history, as it has been written, is an incomplete version of reality. Every civilization leaves behind traces of its existence, but what happens when those traces do not align with what historians believe to be true? The artifacts, engineering, and inscriptions found within this tomb suggest that there is far more to the ancient world than what has been previously documented. Does this prove ancient civilizations were more advanced? The architectural precision of the tomb, the complex passageways, and the advanced burial methods suggest that whoever built this structure possessed engineering knowledge beyond what was thought possible for their time. The intricate carvings and the precise alignment of certain chambers to celestial bodies indicate a deep understanding of mathematics and astronomy, something that challenges the established timeline of scientific progress in early civilizations. How did they acquire this knowledge? Did they develop it independently, or was it passed down from an even older and undiscovered source? Some of the materials used in the tomb's construction were transported from regions hundreds of miles away, meaning that this civilization had an advanced logistical system capable of moving massive stone blocks over great distances. This discovery parallels other great feats of ancient engineering, such as the pyramids of Egypt and the massive stone cities of the Andes. The question remains, Was there a shared knowledge base among ancient societies that allowed them to achieve these seemingly impossible feats? There is also evidence that this civilization may have had medical knowledge that was ahead of its time. The skeletal remains of the tomb's occupants showed signs of surgical intervention, with indications that the individual had undergone a medical procedure that left behind precision marks on the bones. Similar evidence has been found in other ancient civilizations, suggesting that knowledge of human anatomy and healing was more advanced than previously thought. If this civilization had access to medical techniques that have since been lost, what other discoveries did they make that have been forgotten by time? Even more puzzling is the presence of artifacts that suggest a form of lost technology. Some of the items discovered within the tomb appear to be tools or devices with no clear function based on current archaeological understanding. Were these merely ceremonial objects, or did they serve a purpose that modern science has yet to uncover? If ancient civilizations had developed technologies that were later lost, then history may need to be re-evaluated to account for these missing innovations. Could there be more hidden tombs? One of the most significant implications of this discovery is that it raises the possibility of many more hidden tombs and ancient sites waiting to be found. The fact that this tomb remained undiscovered for so long, despite being in an area that had been previously explored, suggests that countless other secrets could be buried beneath the earth. If modern technology had not been used to detect anomalies in the landscape, this tomb might have remained hidden for centuries more. There are entire regions of the world that have yet to be fully excavated, particularly in remote and inaccessible areas. Dense jungles, vast deserts, and underwater locations could all be hiding structures as significant as this tomb. In places like the Amazon rainforest, LiDAR technology has already begun to reveal lost cities and networks of roads that were previously unknown. In the depths of the ocean, structures that defy explanation continue to be found, hinting at civilizations that existed long before recorded history. The discovery of this tomb suggests that history is still being written and that much of what is considered fact may only be a fraction of the full story. If this civilization remained hidden for so long, how many others have been lost to time? Could there be tombs of other rulers, leaders, or forgotten cultures lying beneath the surface, waiting for technology to uncover them? The implications of this are staggering. This also raises the question of whether there have been deliberate efforts throughout history to erase certain civilizations from record. Were there groups that existed outside of the well-documented ancient empires, groups that had knowledge or beliefs that were seen as a threat to the ruling powers of their time? If history is written by the victors, then what have we missed from those who were erased? What comes next? The discovery of this tomb is only the beginning. Archaeologists and historians will now shift their focus to further excavations and analysis, hoping to uncover more clues about this civilization. New expeditions will likely be launched to search for additional tombs, settlements, and artifacts that could provide a clearer picture of who these people were and how they fit into the broader history of humanity. Linguists and cryptographers will continue their work to decipher the inscriptions found within the tomb. If they succeed in translating this language, it could unlock secrets about the beliefs, customs, and knowledge of this lost civilization. There is also the potential for genetic studies to reveal more about the origins of the tomb's occupant and their connection to other ancient populations. Technological advancements in archaeology will play a crucial role in what happens next. Eye-driven analysis, further LiDAR scanning, and even DNA sequencing of organic material found in the tomb could provide breakthroughs that were previously impossible. These tools will not only help researchers understand this specific discovery but could also be used to locate other lost sites around the world. There is also the possibility that this discovery will reignite debates over suppressed historical findings. Will everything that is uncovered be made public, or will certain aspects of the discovery be kept hidden? Throughout history, there have been cases where major findings were delayed or altered before being released to the public. With the global interest in this tomb growing, there will be pressure on the academic community to be fully transparent about what is discovered. This tomb has already changed the way historians view ancient civilizations, and as more findings emerge, its impact will only grow. Whether it leads to the discovery of even more hidden sites or simply forces scholars to reconsider what they thought they knew, one thing is certain: history is far from settled. The past is still waiting to be uncovered, and this tomb is proof that there is still so much left to learn. The discovery of this ancient tomb has shaken the foundations of history, challenging what historians and archaeologists thought they knew about early civilizations. The implications are vast, forcing scholars to reconsider long-held beliefs about technological advancements, cultural practices, and the true timeline of human development. This is not just another archaeological site, it is a revelation that demands a re-evaluation of the past. Every new artifact, inscription, and piece of evidence extracted from the tomb has only added to the growing realization that history is far more complex than previously believed. The meticulous craftsmanship of the structure, the undeciphered language, and the presence of advanced burial techniques all suggest that this civilization possessed knowledge that was either lost or deliberately erased over time. This discovery reinforces the idea that the past is not as clear-cut as textbooks suggest. There are still gaps in historical records, civilizations that have vanished without a trace, and secrets that remain buried beneath the earth. This tomb serves as a stark reminder that many aspects of human history remain undiscovered. If one forgotten civilization can resurface after centuries, how many more could still be waiting beneath the ground, hidden in dense jungles, buried under desert sands, or even submerged beneath the ocean? Despite the extensive research conducted on this tomb, many questions remain unanswered. The biggest mystery is the identity of the individual buried within. Was this a forgotten ruler, a spiritual leader, or someone whose influence extended far beyond their own civilization? The inscriptions, though partially decoded, have yet to reveal the full story of who they were and why their tomb was concealed so deliberately. The presence of artifacts that suggest lost technology or unknown scientific knowledge continues to spark debate among scholars. How did this civilization acquire skills that seem far beyond their time? Were they pioneers in fields that have since been forgotten, or did they inherit knowledge from an even earlier culture? The secrecy surrounding the tomb's construction raises further speculation. Why was it sealed in such a way that it remained hidden for so long? Most royal burials are designed to be remembered, serving as monuments to a leader's power and legacy. Yet, this site was different, almost as if those who built it never intended for it to be found again. If this tomb was deliberately erased from history, who wanted to forget it, and why? Could it be that the discovery of this site was never meant to happen, and if so, what information might still be withheld from the public? The future of this discovery depends on how much more can be uncovered. Will new tombs be found that provide answers, or will this remain an isolated anomaly? The academic world will continue to debate its significance, and as new technologies emerge, more details may come to light. But for now, the tomb remains an unsolved puzzle, offering more questions than answers about the ancient world. History is not set in stone. Every discovery reshapes the way we understand the past, proving that there is always more to uncover. If this tomb remained hidden for centuries, what else is out there waiting to be found? The story of humanity is still being written, and with every new excavation, another forgotten chapter comes to light. The question is no longer whether history is incomplete, but how much of it remains hidden just